Have you ever wondered why some of the most talented people in the world end up on the Do Not Hire list? It is not just about bad luck. It is about ego and terrible choices. We have the receipts on 20 stars who pushed it too far. Stick around for number 4, who allegedly kept chickens in a closet for 3 years for a strange ritual. 1. Kanye West. We have to start with the man who redefined what it means to self-destruct in public. For years, people called him a genius. He produced hits that changed music and created a shoe brand that was everywhere you looked. But there is a thin line between genius and something else entirely. Kanye, or Ye as he likes to be called, decided to cross that line and sprint a mile past it. You see, it was not just one bad day, it was a snowball effect of erratic behavior that turned into an avalanche. He went on national television and said slavery was a choice, which is a statement that left millions of people scratching their heads in confusion. But he did not stop there. He started posting rants on social media that targeted specific groups of people. He made comments about Jewish people that were so hurtful and dangerous that his business partners had no choice but to walk away. Here is a number that will blow your mind. In a matter of days, his net worth plummeted. He went from being worth nearly $2 billion to around $400 million. Adidas dropped him. Gap dropped him. Even the bank wanted nothing to do with him. He wore a shirt that said "White Lives Matter" during a fashion show, which felt like a slap in the face to the community that had supported him from day one. What many overlooked was that he also mocked editors at Vogue and went after his own family online. He posted private text messages and fought a very public war with his ex-wife. It was painful to watch. He sits at number 1 because he had the world in his palm and crushed it. But while Ye lost his fortune, the next man on our list lost a legacy that took 50 years to build and involved betraying the trust of grandmothers everywhere. 2. Bill Cosby. For decades, he was America's dad. He wore colorful sweaters and told jokes about family life that were clean and funny. He was the moral compass for millions of people. He even traveled the country, giving speeches telling young black men to pull up their pants and behave better. But that was all a carefully crafted lie. Behind the friendly smile was a predator who used his power and fame to hurt women. The thing nobody tells you is just how long this was going on. It was not 1 or 2 accusations. Over 60 women came forward with stories that were frighteningly similar. They said he would offer them a drink or some pills to help them relax, and then the next thing they knew, they were unable to move or speak. He was using his reputation as a safe father figure to lower their guards. It is chilling to think about. He was convicted and sent to prison, although he was released later on. Legal technicality. But the court of public opinion had already slammed the gavel. He went from being a beloved icon to a pariah. Reruns of his show were pulled from the air. Schools that had given him honorary degrees took them back. He sits here at number 2 because the level of deception is unmatched. He lectured the world on morality while he was doing the most immoral things imaginable in private. It is a grim reminder that you never really know a person. But while Cosby used pills to control people, the next singer on our list used a camcorder and a cult-like control over young girls that lasted for 30 years. 3. R. Kelly. Robert Kelly was the king of R&B. He wrote the anthem "I Believe I Can Fly," which was played at weddings and graduations all over the world. But while we were singing along, he was running what prosecutors called a racketeering enterprise designed to prey on young women and underage girls. You see, the signs were there for a long time. People just chose to look the other way because the music was so good. There was a disturbing videotape that surfaced way back in the early 2000s. He was put on trial then, but he was acquitted. He even wrote a song about being innocent. But the whispers never stopped. The documentary Surviving R. Kelly blew the lid off the whole operation. It revealed a system where he controlled everything these women did. He told them when they could eat and when they could use the bathroom. He made them call him Daddy. It was not a relationship. It was captivity. He was eventually sentenced to 30 years in prison. What makes this so shocking is the sheer volume of his crimes and how he hid in plain sight. He had enablers around him who protected him and silenced the victims. He thought he was untouchable. He trapped people in a cycle of abuse while singing about love. But while Kelly is now behind bars, the next celebrity on our list is still free and uses the internet to launch attacks that are as confusing as they are mean. 4. Azealia Banks. If you are on the internet, you have probably seen a feud involving Azealia Banks. She burst onto the scene with a hit song that everyone loved called 212. She had the flow and the style to be the next big rap superstar. But she seemingly decided that fighting was more important than recording. She has beefed with almost everyone in the industry. It is hard to keep track of the list. She has gone after Beyoncé. She has attacked Rihanna. She made fun of Zayn Malik using terrible slurs. She even got into a bizarre fight with Elon Musk and his girlfriend at the time. Her insults are not just playful jabs. They are deep and cutting and often cross the line into racism and homophobia. She has a way of finding the thing that will hurt a person the most and pressing that button repeatedly. But the moment that really made people stop and stare happened in her own home. She posted a video where she was cleaning out a closet that she said she used for witchcraft. She claimed she had been sacrificing chickens in there for 3 years. The internet went wild. It was a wow factor that nobody saw coming. She is talented, but her toxic behavior online has overshadowed her music completely. She is the queen of burning bridges. But speaking of burning bridges, the next artist on our list smashed a window and a reputation in one violent night. 5. Chris Brown. There was a time when Chris Brown was the clean-cut teen heartthrob who could dance like Michael Jackson. He had the smile and the hits. Then came the night in 2009 that changed everything. The photos of Rihanna after their argument were leaked, and the world saw the brutal reality of what he had done. He had assaulted one of the most beloved pop stars on the planet. You would think that would be a wake-up call, but what happened next was a long streak of defensive behavior. He did not seem to show the remorse people expected. He smashed a window at a morning show dressing room because he was asked about the incident. He got into fights at clubs. He had more legal issues involving other people. Yet he maintained a huge fan base that defended his every move. What many overlooked is the pattern. It was not a one-time mistake. It was a display of temper and a lack of control that kept resurfacing. He even got a tattoo on his neck that looked suspiciously like a battered woman, although he denied that was the intention. He remains a huge star, but there is always an asterisk next to his name. He is the poster child for talent not being enough to cover up bad character. But while Chris Brown acts out with his fists, the next man on our list acts out with a level of control over his family that is downright creepy. 6. T.I. Clifford Harris, known as T.I., was the king of the South. He helped invent trap music. He had the swagger and the reality show that made him look like a wise family man. But then he went on a podcast and shared a detail about his parenting style that made the whole world cringe. He admitted that he would take his daughter to the gynecologist every year to check her hymen to ensure she was still a virgin. The backlash was instant. People were horrified. It was seen as a massive invasion of privacy and a weird obsession with controlling his daughter's body. He thought he was being a protective father, but the world saw it as possessive and out of touch. Doctors even had to come out and explain that there is no medical test that can prove virginity like that. It showed a side of him that was not the cool rapper we thought we knew. On top of that, he and his wife have faced serious allegations from multiple women claiming they drugged and assaulted them. They have denied it all, but the stories are consistent and disturbing. He also got into heat for criticizing the Black Lives Matter movement in a way that felt like he was siding with the police. He went from being a voice of the streets to someone who seemed to look down on everyone else. But while T.I. tries to control his household, the next comedian tried to control the narrative and failed miserably. 7. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is one of the hardest working men in show business. He is everywhere, movies and stand-up specials and commercials. He built his brand on being the funny little guy who is relatable, but his ambition hit a wall when he was tapped to host the Oscars. It was the biggest gig of his life. Then old tweets resurfaced where he made some very harsh anti-gay jokes. Instead of just saying sorry immediately, he got defensive. He said he had already addressed it and refused to apologize again at first. He eventually stepped down from the gig. It was a masterclass in how not to handle a crisis. But the drama did not stop there. He also had a cheating scandal where he was extorted by someone who had a video of him with another woman while his wife was pregnant. He had to make a public apology on Instagram that was incredibly awkward. He admitted he messed up. While he has bounced back and kept making movies, the nice guy image was cracked. We saw a side of him that was stubborn and a bit reckless. He proved that even the biggest stars can trip over their own egos. But a trip is nothing compared to the physical assault that happened on live TV with our next star. 8. Will Smith. For 30 years, Will Smith could do no wrong. He was the Fresh Prince. He was the hero who saved the world in Independence Day. He was charming and safe. Then came the 94th Academy Awards. Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair. Will laughed at first, but then he saw his wife's reaction. He walked up on stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face. The sound of the slap echoed around the world. Then he sat back down and screamed profanities at the stage. The room was stunned silent. He went on to win the Best Actor award minutes later and gave a tearful speech about love and protection, but the damage was done. The facade of the perfect, happy-go-lucky guy was shattered in seconds. It revealed a deep anger and a strange dynamic in his marriage that people had been whispering about for years. Reports started coming out about his behavior on sets and his demands. People started looking at his old interviews differently. They saw a narcissism they had missed before. He was banned from the Oscars for 10 years. It was the biggest self-sabotage in Hollywood history. He went from beloved to feared and pitied in the blink of an eye. But while Will lost his cool in front of millions, Number 9 is known for losing his cool when the cameras are not rolling. 9. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is a triple threat. He can sing and act and do comedy. He won an Oscar for playing Ray Charles. But in Hollywood circles, he has a reputation for being difficult. There are stories about him being rude to staff and demanding special treatment. One viral story involved him allegedly demanding a store open specifically for him or demanding free things, just because of who he is. While he is charming on talk shows, the behind-the-scenes chatter paints a picture of a diva. He has had conflicts on movie sets where he reportedly clashed with directors and co-stars. During the filming of a recent movie with Cameron Diaz, there were rumors of meltdowns and firings of crew members that caused production delays. He seems to expect the world to bow down to his talent. He also has a history of partying hard, which has led to some messy situations. He is one of those stars where the talent is undeniable, but the personality can be a lot to handle. He manages to keep most of it out of the headlines, but the whispers are loud enough to land him on this list. But while Jamie is difficult to work with, the next star is difficult to listen to because of what she says about her own heritage. 10. Raven-Symoné. We watched Raven grow up on The Cosby Show and then on her own Disney show. She was funny and talented, but as an adult, she has said some things that have made the Black community collectively groan. In an interview with Oprah, she famously said, "She is not African American, she is just an American." She also said she is colorless. Then on The View, she said she would not hire someone if they had a quote-unquote ghetto name like Watermelon Drea. The irony was lost on her. People were furious. Here was a Black woman judging other Black people for their names, which is a form of discrimination that holds many people back in the real world. She seemed to have a lot of internalized issues that she was projecting onto everyone else. She creates controversy by trying to distance herself from her identity. It comes off as arrogant and uninformed. She often puts her foot in her mouth when discussing sensitive topics. She has tried to walk some of these comments back, but the label of being out of touch stuck to her. She is the classic example of a child star who lost connection with reality. But while Raven dislikes names, the next man on our list dislikes interracial dating, but only for other people. 11. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey reinvented himself from a comedian to a relationship guru and game show host. He wrote books telling women how to think like a man. But his own views can be very old-fashioned and offensive. He came under fire for mocking Asian men on his show, suggesting that nobody finds them attractive. It was a cruel joke that relied on tired stereotypes, but the thing that really got him in hot water was a leaked memo from his talk show. He sent an email to his staff telling them not to approach him in the hallways. He told them, "Do not speak to him and do not come to his dressing room." He said he wanted to save his energy for the show. It painted a picture of a guy who thinks he is better than the people working for him. He also has a history of making controversial political statements and meeting with leaders that his fan base dislikes. He presents himself as a wise uncle, but often acts like a grumpy tyrant. His advice often puts the blame on women for men's bad behavior. He is a smooth talker, but the mask slips often. But while Steve Harvey avoids eye contact, the next actress avoids reality entirely. 12. Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash was the cool girl in Clueless. Everyone loved her. Then she became a commentator on Fox News, and everything changed. She started saying things that were shocking. She called for the end of Black History Month. She said there should not be a BET channel if there is not a white entertainment television channel. She was accused of pandering to an audience that dislikes her community. She became the face of the "I am not like other Black people" crowd. It was sad to see for many fans who had admired her. She seemed to go out of her way to validate viewpoints that denied the existence of systemic racism. She was eventually let go from Fox News and later apologized, saying she was angry at the time. But the internet does not forget. She had burned so many bridges that it was hard for her to find work in Hollywood again. She went from being an it girl to an outcast. Her story is a warning about selling out your own culture for a paycheck. But speaking of reality TV villains, the next woman on our list turned villainy into a career. 13. Omarosa Manigault Newman. Omarosa first became famous on The Apprentice. She was the contestant everyone loved to hate. She was cutthroat and mean and manipulative. Most people thought it was just an act for TV, but then she followed Donald Trump to the White House. She took a job in his administration and defended him fiercely while he was saying terrible things about minorities. She alienated almost everyone, but then she got fired and flipped the script. She released secret recordings she had made inside the Situation Room, which is a huge breach of security. She wrote a tell-all book bashing the people she had just worked for. It showed that her loyalty is only to herself. She is willing to throw anyone under the bus to get ahead. She has fought with almost every black celebrity she has come across on reality shows. She is seen as vindictive and untrustworthy. Nobody wants to be on her bad side, but nobody wants to be on her team either. She is the ultimate reality TV villain come to life. But while Omarosa fights with words, the next mogul fights with his ego. 14. Damon Dash. Damon Dash co-founded Roc-A-Fella Records with Jay-Z. They were on top of the world. But while Jay-Z went on to become a billionaire, Damon Dash ended up in debt and arguing in interviews. He is known for having a very abrasive personality. He yells at interviewers. He mocks people who have 9-to-5 jobs, calling them lazy or stupid for having a boss. He famously got into a heated debate on a radio show where he shouted at the hosts for asking him about his business dealings. He has a way of talking down to people that is hard to watch. He calls himself a boss, but he has lost many of his businesses due to bad relationships and legal troubles. He even insulted people who had passed away, saying they were bad businessmen. He is the guy who cannot get out of his own way. His pride is his downfall. He refuses to listen to anyone else because he thinks he knows everything. It is a tragic fall for someone who helped build a dynasty. But while Damon yells about business, the next comedian yells about the lies in the industry. 15. Katt Williams. Katt Williams is one of the funniest men alive, but he is also a walking chaotic event. He has been arrested countless times for fighting. He has gotten into brawls with teenagers in the street. He has challenged other comedians to fights. For a while, it seemed like he was having a breakdown in public. But recently, he broke the internet with an interview on Club Shay Shay. He sat down and systematically insulted half of Hollywood. He called out Steve Harvey and Kevin Hart and Cedric the Entertainer. He accused them of stealing jokes and being industry plants. He spoke with such conviction that millions of people believed him. He burned every bridge imaginable in 3 hours. He is seen as a truth teller by some and a bitter hater by others. He does not care about playing the game. He is willing to destroy his own career just to expose what he thinks is the truth. He is unpredictable, and that makes him dangerous in a strictly Hollywood sense. But while Katt fights the industry, the next star fights the shape of the earth. 16. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a wizard on the basketball court. He has the best handles in the league. But off the court, he is a headache for every team he plays for. It started when he said he thought the earth might be flat. People laughed, but he was serious. He questions everything in a way that often ignores basic science. Then came the vaccine mandate. He refused to get the shot, which meant he could not play in home games for the Brooklyn Nets. He left his teammates hanging, and the team suffered. He framed it as a stand for freedom, but fans just saw a selfish player ruining the season. Then he posted a link to a movie that was full of anti-Semitic tropes. He refused to apologize clearly for a long time, which led to a suspension. He seems to think he is the smartest person in the room, but he often ends up sounding confused and hurtful. He is a distraction. Teams are scared to sign him because they do not know what he will say next. But while Kyrie posts weird links, the next singer posts weird pictures and attacks her own fans. 17. Doja Cat. Doja Cat. Doja Cat is a pop sensation. She makes catchy songs that take over TikTok. But she has a very strange relationship with fame. She seems to hate her fans. She went on a rant telling them they were pathetic for calling themselves her kittens. She told them to get a job and get off their phones. It was wild to see a star attack the people who pay her bills. She also shaved her head and eyebrows on live stream and started acting in a way that made people worry. About her mental health, she wore a shirt with a neo-Nazi staring on it, which caused a huge scandal. She used to hang out in chat rooms making offensive jokes before she was famous, and those habits seem to linger. She thrives on negative attention. She trolls people on purpose. It is hard to tell if she is a genius performance artist or just mean. She pushes people away and then drops a hit song and pulls them back in. It is a toxic cycle. But while Doja trolls for fun, the next rapper denies racism exists for real. 18. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is a legend. He calls himself the best rapper alive, but his views on society are very different from most of his peers. In an interview, he said he does not believe racism exists because he has a lot of white fans at his concerts. He said if a white man buys his ticket, then racism must be over. It was a statement that showed how disconnected he is from the real world. He also made comments dismissing the Black Lives Matter movement, saying it had nothing to do with him because he is rich and famous. He supported Donald Trump just days before the election, which shocked the hip-hop world. He seems to live in a bubble where his money protects him from reality. He has also had legal issues with weapons and substances throughout his career. He is a rock star who lives by his own rules, but those rules often alienate the people who grew up listening to him. He is a musical genius with a very confusing political compass. But while Wayne ignores the issues, the next rapper thinks love is the only answer to everything. 19. Common is known as the conscious rapper. He writes poetry and talks about love and peace, but sometimes his desire to be the peacemaker rubs people the wrong way. He famously said that black people should extend a hand of love to white people, and that would cure racism. He suggested that if black people showed more love, the problems would go away. Many people found this insulting. It put the burden on the victims to fix the problem. He was called out for being too soft and trying to please everyone. He also has a reputation for dating famous women like Serena Williams and Erykah Badu, and then breaking up with them and talking about it in his memoirs. He is not bad in the same way as R. Kelly, but he is viewed as corny and sometimes an obstacle to real progress because he wants everything to be smooth and nice. He ignores the harsh realities that require more than just a hug to fix. But our final celebrity went from fighting the power to meeting with the power. 20 Ice Cube. Ice Cube wrote the song specifically about fighting the police. He was the angriest voice in hip-hop with NWA. He was the symbol of rebellion. But in recent years, he has made some moves that have people scratching their heads. He sat down with the Trump campaign to discuss a contract with Black America. People called him a sellout. They could not believe the guy who wrote those anti-establishment songs was now working with the establishment. He also has a history of posting things on Twitter that are considered anti-Semitic. He posted memes that are associated with conspiracy theories about Jewish people controlling the world. He gets defensive when called out. He says he is just asking questions. But for a man who stood for righteousness for so long, his recent turn has been disappointing to many. He went from the scowl of the revolution to a wealthy man who seems to have lost the plot. These 20 celebrities show us that talent does not equal goodness. Fame amplifies everything, including the bad traits. They are reminders that we should enjoy the art, but be careful about worshiping the artist. You never know what is hiding behind the curtain.